So is this like a brother from another mother situation, or is it like brother from the same mother? How was Liebe even born? Before we hop in this breakdown on Liebe from Black Clover, please do me a favor, leave your own thoughts on his character in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got a pencil here, and here we are to break down Liebe, the demon who lost it all. I suppose the devil who lost it all. He's a very interesting character. Let's hop right into it. So, Liebe is a character who honestly had me extremely intrigued from the moment he was sort of introduced. Like, I remember when he popped up in that big, weird, like, shadowy form, I was like, whoa, what kind of time are we on right now? Like, I was legitimately intrigued just because of how strange he felt relative to the rest of the world. And I think he was a good introduction to like the whole power system of the devils in the first place in Black Clover, just because of how ominous he showed up and felt like he felt like a monster on someone else's shoulder, specifically on Asta's shoulder, just guiding him along. Like he was feeding Asta. It was gonna sound bad. I know Black Clover fans are gonna hate me for this, but still, it's almost like Kurama, right? Like in the sense that, but here's the thing, I'd say Liebe was different because Liebe wasn't necessarily aiming to cause Asta problems. He was aiming to keep Asta alive and have him strong, so when he took over his body, he could do things. Meanwhile, Kurama just wanted to get out. But in terms of just like the lending power in order to support the protagonist, like Liebe came with that, but it always felt ominous. Like the way that anti-magic and Liebe work together in the early series before he's revealed is that both are these unnatural, unreal, almost out of this world thing that shouldn't really be happening. And Tabata does a great job of emphasizing that with Liebe's whole existence. When Zagreus pops up and the two have that conversation, it greatly implies Liebe is this like otherworldly monster who like doesn't even care that another one of his own kind is going down. And Liebe is very good at having intrigue built up about him throughout the entire early series, from the introduction of anti-magic all the way up to his reveal. He himself is so eerily ominous that I love it. It's this weird mix of a lack of understanding. It's like the lack of understanding leads to fear about Liebe, but he's working with our main characters, so we can't be too fearful, right? Like this isn't, I keep comparing him to Inner Demons, because this is just something, there's a conversation I see, but it's a conversation I see commonly online, like, oh, who's the best Inner Demon, blah, 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 and I have my own various different opinions on that. In terms of this, it's a weird mix, right, between the Kurama situation, the Sukuna situation, and the White situation. Like, now that I have, like, three major Inner Demons in my head, like, Liebe almost takes the best parts of each of those and merges them together, especially before he's revealed to be the character he is. While he's just this sort of ominous figure in the background, he does a great job of building this like weird otherworldly intrigue that honestly keeps you more and more interested about the verse, even as you learn more about it through the early series. Like while we get a better understanding of magic, the captains, the magic system, the entire operations of the Clover Kingdom, like while we get all this, Liebe does a great job of keeping us interested in the world on top of all that we're learning, because he's always there. He's always lurking. Every single time anti-magic is used, it's viewed as like this terrifying thing within the world, because obviously you have this dude who has no magic at all, but of course he's wielding these weapons that are infused with some ability that negates all magic. Like that's gotta be terrifying in a world literally run on magic. So Liebe, on his own, before he's even introduced and before you even get to see his real face and stuff like that, he has this great, ominous, weighty presence to him that both excites and unnerves the reader. And I think that's a fine line to walk, but I think Tabata did a great job with it. Like this weird mix of you want to learn way more about this guy, but at the same time, you also don't want you want to learn more, but you're almost scared to learn more because you're wondering what's going to happen. Especially when Liebe ends up taking Asta's arm as like an exchange for more power, it shows this weird dynamic where like, whoa, Asta can literally lose limbs to stuff like this. Like this is something that could really happen. Liebe brings up this terrifying trade-off that's needed in the moment, but then you realize that arm is never coming back. Asta is now just armless. If that power ever disappears, he loses the arm. So I think all of that in terms of pre-introduction to Liebe as a character, pre-all that, just purely backstory-wise, Liebe, fantastic. But then when we actually get to meet him, Tabata does the amazing job of like, He roundabout flips Lieb's whole thing so quickly, despite how he introduces him. Because Lieb comes out the cut, like fresh out when Nang is about to begin the devil training submission ritual. He's like, alright, Asta, my dude, my guy, my vessel, my host, let me be real with you. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna take that body and I'm gonna slaughter them all. Like in terms of, I don't know, just the way that it flips. Like, Lieb goes from this very subtle, ominous, lurking presence, this beast on your shoulder offering you shady deals, like this monster just convincing you from the dark, to, oh nah, I'm all about that action, and I'm gonna need you to do it. And I think that's a very cool flip. Like, Tabata manages to take Lieb from this ominous character, this flip it to instantly a imposing character, and then in that, like, in the matter of a chapter, flip it again to make you feel bad for him. Like, when we get Lieb's backstory and how he was raised by Asta's mother, of all people, which is a very interesting story. I definitely want more on that. That's something I really want more, because it seems like she has a similar affliction to Henry, but hers never got treated. She just, Zafiro made sure that didn't happen. But in terms of just like watching Lieb and learning about him, like a dude who, like Asta, was born in the demon world without any magic, like just straight up a magicless dude, and he was just suffering because magic, just as in the human world, in the opposite world, rules everything. If you don't have any magic, well, I hate to say it, it'd be like that when it be like that sometimes. You're just gonna have to suffer. And to have him get a glimpse, a taste, a whiff of hope, when he not only manages to escape, but comes across a human that doesn't run from him in fear, try to kill him, but one that actually takes care of him. That's great. Like, you like, in a vacuum, just reading Lieb's story, Lieb could be his own protagonist. Like, you could straight up, you could stretch this out into a manga and I feel like no one would be bad. Because just seeing Lieb get this little glimpse of happiness after all the suffering he had apparently been through, and what we saw him go through, from the ridicule in the demon world to the fear in the human world, seeing him get that little glimpse, that whiff of happiness, you feel good for him. At least, I'm not sure if maybe not all people did, but I felt good for him. I was happy for him because he got something that he honestly deserved. Everyone deserves to be happy. So to see him develop this bond with this woman, and it becomes like a literal mother and son relationship, and she literally, the thing that I appreciate the most is that Lieb gets his name from Asta's mother. He gets his name, and after all that bonding, all that time growing up, all that time having a family, it just all it took was one day, one moment, one manifestation of the highest level devil to end all that, to destroy all of it. And there was nothing he could do. And like that, in the fact that he had to do it with his own hands. Sure, he wasn't in control of his body, but he had to watch as his own body was used to destroy the one person in the world who loved him and he loved back. And then on top of that, he had to suffer even more, because then he instantly got sealed into a Griamore. There was no delay, no hesitation. He just instantly got locked up. So now all he has in himself is just this despair, this rage, this emptiness, this pain. And he wants to get it back at them. He wants to get back from the suffering he experienced as a child to them taking away the only person he ever loved, and the only person who ever loved him back. That's something personal to him. And it's something that you, or anyone really as a person, can understand and feel that. So you completely get why he's so pushed towards, he's so bent on getting that revenge, getting that return, but he simply can't. The only hiccup that I'll admit with Lieb is that he just manifests anti-magic. I know it's a common consensus, but I'm gonna say it again. That just seems like nonsense. How do you just manifest something completely foreign? Like, I know he was a magicless devil. If anyone's gonna be a catalyst for some weird, out of this world, magical, not magic property stuff, it would be someone like him. But for him to just and squeeze it out one day, that was weird. Not gonna lie, that was the only thing. But I think it's appropriate that someone who wishes to destroy the world and destroy the people that base themselves entirely around magic would spawn something that would be entirely based in opposition. Because his goal was the exact opposite. We know magic almost manifests Well, we know magic grows off of what a character is about. Like, characters going through character development in Black Clover will spawn a spell that works specifically to their character development. So we know magic has that interpersonal connection to him, and maybe Lieb's just being in this Grimoire allowed him to develop a magic like that. I don't know. I don't like that. I feel like Tabata's hiding something about that. Because that's just too specific. That's too strange for just a random person. Then again, we have dream magic, dark magic, world tree magic. Like, there's so many weird magics in Black Clover, but for him to just manifest it one day while sitting in a Grimoire seems weird. But back to the emotional story. And like, he goes through all this and he watches Asta, right? Because he's still sealed in the Grimoire. And Asta is someone who hasn't let him out yet, and he doesn't necessarily know what to... We'll get into that. But there's so much. He just watches and watches and watches, and he sees directly how Asta mirrors his mother. Both of their mothers. Well, both of their mother. He mirrors Richita. Asta mirrors his mother in appearance, personality, drive, willpower, determination, everything. And Liebe almost finds himself in this weird catch-22 situation where his drive, his wants to get revenge on them, get revenge on the people who wronged him and wronged his mother, is counteracted by the only person who hypothetically could be his vessel being not only his real brother in a sense, but also a person who mirrors the person he's trying to fight for so well. So Liebe is almost in this... No, he's not almost in. He's in a situation where, in a way, by destroying Asta, he would be destroying her legacy. And he knows that's something that she wouldn't want. And I think it's appropriate that Asta, after winning the battle, because Liebe underestimates him like everyone else does, the two become equals. Because they are equals. They're brothers. And I love how their dynamic ends up reuniting, reconverging on a point. It went from Liebe being a character that we were feared but interested in, or we went from Liebe being a character that we were scared of yet interested in, to a character that inspired just great terror and great resolve when he wanted to kill all the devils, and to this character who now stands toe-to-toe and side by side with our main character, who both view each other as equals, and thus, by viewing each other as equals, have created a power that's beyond anything that we've seen so far, and will likely be beyond anything once it gets even stronger and is mastered even more. I think that's great. Liebe isn't necessarily the most complex character. I'm waiting for more from him, because I'll admit, once he went little mini devil mode, he's kind of just, he's been chilling, he's been stagnant. But to be fair, he went through a lot for how much he's done so far, so I'm not blaming him for that. But yeah, Liebe, and a really great character who went through so much in so little time that I actually respect the sheer writing feat behind that. However, those are my thoughts on Liebe. I'll admit, like, I just wanted to talk about him in a short sense. I will probably go more in depth on his dynamic with Asta and how I think his whole presence throughout the series works really well for like world building and previews and stuff like that. Like, there's so much more to talk about with Liebe, but simply on his own little character journey, I love his whole weird introductory part in the early part of the series. I love the multiple flips he goes through. I love the current state he's in right now, even if he is a hilarious little mini devil. But those are my thoughts on Liebe. Please tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off.